Hey everybody, Judy the YouTube Lawyer here, still getting over a cold, but some people keep saying they'd prefer to hear me, so you can hear me and still give me your opinion as to whether you like that AI voice. So this is a quick video just to show you the motion from Donna Adelson's attorneys, where they want to keep out evidence of her travel as consciousness of guilt. So, I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. They don't want the jury to be able to hear about the fact that she was trying to go to Vietnam. And this was just a week after her son, Charlie, was convicted of first-degree murder. So here it says, Dan Markel was murdered July 18th, 2014, and within days of the murder, Donna Adelson was a prime suspect of the state. So they keep mentioning that, oh, it was, 10 years since she was supposedly a prime suspect of the murder, and during that 10 years, she didn't try to flee. But I think that's a total misstatement of fact. I never heard of Donna Adelson being a, quote, prime suspect of the state until when? Maybe not even in 2016, because back then, after Sigfredo Garcia was arrested and Lewis became a witness for the state, well, then it was Katie McBanua and Charlie who were seen as the prime suspects. So I'm not even sure when Donna Adelson became a prime suspect, but she wasn't even named as a co-conspirator until early 2022, which was before Katie McBanua's second trial, and that was in the state's motion. So this whole premise of claiming that, well, she had 10 years to flee, well, that's not true, because way back in 2014, as well as even back in 2016, she was not seen as a prime suspect. So let's see here. Okay, where prosecutors run into trouble in presenting evidence of flight to a jury is where the inferential chain between flight or concealment and consciousness of guilt is so attenuated to not be responsibly left to the jury for fear of prejudicing the defendant or drawing unnecessary attention to a likely meaningless act. So they're quoting some 11th Circuit law. But was that a meaningless act? I think to most people who have followed the case, that was a meaningful act that Donna Adelson quickly decided to get one-way tickets for herself and her husband soon after her son was convicted. So this case from Florida says the interpretation to be gleaned from an act of flight should be made with a sensitivity to the facts of the particular case. As one federal circuit noted, flight evidence is controversial and must be handled with care. Okay, so they can handle it with care. It is what it is. So, but I can't blame her attorneys for filing something like this. They seem to be wanting to cover all bases, even when the motions seem like they are hopeless. So they're churning lots of filings. They are doing work for the money they're being paid. So later they start quoting cases from other states, which I think is kind of weak, because typically for state cases, the judges want to see other case law from the same state. So case law from other states is not anything that would be seen as mandatory on the court in making a decision. So here they say evidence of flight is inadmissible when there are independent reasons for flight, as those independent reasons tend to break the second and third links of the chain. Okay, so they're saying Donna could come up with an alternative explanation for the flight other than consciousness of guilt. Well, of course, she could say, I just always wanted to visit Vietnam, wanted to take a nice vacation. We weren't sure how long we wanted to be there. So, no big deal that we bought one-way tickets. So she could certainly say that. So this is where they start citing Mississippi case law, Nevada. Okay, so this is where they argue the evidence is clear, even in jail calls, that Donna Adelson was not, quote, fleeing and was not leaving because she had a guilty conscience about being involved in the murder of Dan Markel. She did not hide her travel. She applied for a visa with the State Department. Well, isn't that what she's supposed to do? She spoke about her travel openly with friends. Well, these are friends that were still her supporters, and they weren't going to contact the authorities about it. A ticket was booked in her name, not an alias at her local airport. Well, big deal. The hitman rented the Prius in their own name, right? And she used her own passport. Wow. Does that make her seem not guilty? Indeed, her travel was open and notorious. Well, she did consult with Rashbaum about it. And, she had the right to book a flight and stuff because she was not under arrest. So this is where they say she would have and should have fled a decade ago when it was clear she was a main target and suspect. And again, I think that's totally wrong because she was not, in my opinion, she was not seen as the main target and suspect back in 2014 or even for years after that. So this is sort of like what Charlie was arguing back when he wanted to be released pending trial, where it's saying she had so many opportunities to leave the country. There were times that she traveled and always returned. So it shows that she did not have a guilty conscience. Okay. Well, as you can tell, I definitely am sick. I took 2 COVID tests. They were both negative. So remove this from the screen. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to live stream later tonight. Just feel like I'm constantly coughing and need to just lie down or something. Okay, so where was that footnote? That's so weird. I thought I saw a footnote. Oh, okay, so the footnote just says, we have conferred with the state who opposes this motion. Yes, of course. So I think that the evidence of her flight is just a tiny piece. So I don't think it's overly prejudicial. Certainly, she or her attorneys could explain that she just wanted to have a nice vacation to Vietnam, that it's like a beautiful place. Her son had gone there multiple times, and she just thought she needed to get away because she felt so stressed out and she felt lots of pressure or just negative vibes sticking around her home. So she just needed to get away to Vietnam after Charlie's conviction. So yeah, who knows? Maybe some people would buy that, but I don't think it's so prejudicial that it should be excluded. So anyway, time to get off the camera, get some more tea. I do have work and also have court tomorrow, unfortunately, so I better save my voice. Thank you guys for being there and still caring. Take care.